Stop everything you are doing right now. Take a deep breath. Because what you're about to hear in the next 4 minutes is not just another video that randomly appeared in your feed. You were led here. And if you're feeling a slight shiver crawling up your neck as I speak, it's because Archangel Michael is already in front of you, holding the flaming sword, waiting for you to hear a single truth that will rearrange absolutely everything in your life from this day forward. You've spent months, perhaps years, waiting for someone to return. Someone who left taking a piece of you with them. You prayed, you asked, you participated in prayer chains, performed rituals, and prayed at dawn. And nothing. The silence continued. The phone remained silent. The door stayed shut. And you started to believe you had been forgotten, discarded, that perhaps you didn't deserve to be loved back. I will tell you now the hardest and most liberating truth you will ever hear in your entire life. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you feel you already are. And as long as you kept feeling abandonment, it was abandonment that continued to manifest. As long as you kept feeling the lack, it was the lack that expanded. As long as you waited for that person to return, you were occupying the state of consciousness of someone being ignored. And the universe, which is a faithful mirror, gave you back exactly that. More ignorance, more silence, more waiting. But today, precisely today, the moment you opened this video, something changed. And I will explain why. There is a spiritual window that opens at very specific moments in our lives. A window that the ancients called the bridge of incidents. It's an invisible corridor within the fourth dimension where the threads of reality rearrange themselves in silence. And when this bridge opens, it brings back everything you have inwardly decreed as yours. Everything. The people, the opportunities, the apologies, the returns you swore would never happen. And I need you to understand one thing before I continue. Archangel Michael doesn't act to give you what you want. He acts to give you what you are. Therefore, if you want someone to return asking for forgiveness today, before sunset, before the end of this week, before you close your eyes to sleep, you must stop being the person who waits. You must become, now, in this very instant, the person who has already been reconciled, the person who has already been sought out, the person who has already been asked to return. This is the law of assumption. And this is what Neville Goddard wrote about for 40 years of his life. It's not a theory. It's not an internet hunch. It's a spiritual principle as old as the Bible, which Christ himself taught when he said that whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have already received it and it will be yours. Notice the words carefully. Believe that you have already received it. In the past tense. Before anything happens in the outer world. Because the secret, my dear, is that feeling is the secret. Feeling is the key that unlocks the fourth dimension, and this is why so many people pray their entire lives without seeing results. They pray with their tongue, with words, with their mouth, but their heart continues to feel scarcity. It continues to feel fear. It continues to feel abandonment. And the universe does not respond to what you say. The universe responds to what you feel. Modern science has already proven this. The human heart emits an electromagnetic field more than 5,000 times stronger than the brain. This field extends approximately 3 meters around your body, and it literally rearranges particles in space around you according to the dominant frequency of your emotions. When you feel painful longing, this field emits a frequency of lack, and the universe returns more situations for you to feel lack. When you feel with calm conviction that that person has already returned, that forgiveness has already been asked, that reconciliation has already happened, your heart field emits a frequency of fullness, and the universe, obedient as always, begins to rearrange people, events, phone calls, chance encounters, and even thoughts in the minds of those far from you, so that this reality can materialize. Do you understand now why everything you've tried so far has failed? Because you were asking with your mouth, but decreeing the opposite with your heart. You were saying, I trust she will return. But deep down, in the secret inner dialogue that no one hears, you were whispering, she will never look for me again. And your inner dialogue is more powerful than 1,000 prayers. Your inner dialogue is, literally, the voice of God within you creating your next reality. And it is here, precisely here, that I need to warn you about the most common mistake. The mistake that completely nullifies your manifestation. The mistake that 95% of people make without even realizing it. But before I reveal this mistake to you, I need you to do one very simple thing now. Leave your like on this video not as a favor to me, but as a decree of acceptance. Every time you press that button, you are telling the universe, I accept the truth being delivered to me now. And subscribe to this channel, because subscribing is your spiritual seal that you are ready to leave the state of waiting and definitively enter the state of fulfilled desire. Do this now and stay with me, because what comes next will change your life. The most common mistake, the one that nullifies everything, is what Neville called monitoring reality. It's when you make the prayer, feel the feeling, go to sleep peacefully, but the next day you wake up and the first thing you do is check your phone to see if the person messaged you. And when there's no message, you collapse. And that collapse of half a second, that little stab of disappointment, is enough to make you leave the state of consciousness of reconciliation and return to the state of consciousness of abandonment. And then you have to start all over again. Persistence is not insisting on asking. Persistence is refusing to feel the absence, even when your physical eyes show you the absence. Persistence is, upon waking, even before opening your eyes, even before getting out of bed, returning to the feeling that it is already done. Persistence is telling yourself silently, with calm firmness, I have already been sought out. I have already been loved back. I have already been reconciled. It doesn't matter what my eyes see. It doesn't matter what the phone shows. It doesn't matter what people say. I remain in the state. And this, my dear, is what separates those who manifest from those who spend their lives dreaming. Most people give up on the third day. Most people give up when the feeling starts to waver. But those who persist, those who return to the state, even when everything around them seems to say it's impossible, they are the ones who see the impossible happen. They are the ones who receive the improbable phone call. They are the ones who hear the doorbell ring when they had already given up. I will teach you now a precise, ancient, powerful technique that Neville Goddard himself used every night before sleeping. Because there is a sacred moment in your day that is more powerful than any ritual, than any altar, than any prayer chain. It's the moment you are about to fall asleep, that 5 to 10 minute window when your body has already relaxed, but your consciousness has not yet shut off. Mystics call this window the alpha state. The ancients called it the portal between worlds. Neville called it the sleep-like state. At this moment, the barrier between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind dissolves, and everything you decree, feel, or imagine in these final minutes enters directly, without filter, without resistance, into your deep programming. That programming that commands your heart field 24 hours a day. That programming that decides what manifests in your life and what doesn't. So tonight, I want you to do the following. When you lie down in bed, instead of scrolling through your phone, instead of reviewing the day's problems, instead of thinking about bills, conflicts, fears, I want you to close your eyes and build a scene. A short, simple, specific scene. A scene that would imply that what you want has already happened. For example, if you want that person to return asking for forgiveness, imagine the scene of the reunion. Don't imagine the asking. Imagine the after. Imagine you two sitting in silence having coffee. Feel her hand in yours. Smell the familiar perfume. Hear her voice saying things you've waited so long to hear. And here's the secret. Hear it as if it's already happening, as if it's a memory, not a wish. And then within this scene repeat a short phrase, a phrase that carries the weight of I am. Because I am is the name of God within you. It is your creative power. Everything you put after I am becomes, sooner or later, your reality. So say, silently, calmly, with the depth of someone speaking the most sacred truth of their life. I am loved. I am sought out. I am reconciled. I am the one who received the apology. I am. Repeat this phrase while feeling the scene. Repeat it until you fall asleep. And the moment you drift off, with that phrase still resonating in your chest, something begins to happen on the invisible plane. The bridge of incidents begins to build itself. People begin to dream of you. Thoughts begin to appear in the minds of those far away. Paths begin to rearrange themselves so that that meeting, that call, that message, that apology finds its way back to you. This is not magic. This is law, as certain as the law of gravity, as certain as the sun rises every morning. The law of assumption is an impersonal principle which works for everyone who applies it correctly, regardless of religion, merit, or past. You may have done everything wrong your entire life. You may have been the one who pushed them away. You may have said hurtful words. You may be carrying heavy guilt. It doesn't matter. The law does not judge. The law responds. And it will respond to you from the exact moment you decide to occupy a new state of consciousness. And I must tell you one more thing, because many masters hide this truth. The forgiveness you expect to receive from that person, in reality, begins to manifest when you first forgive yourself. Because as long as you keep carrying guilt, shame, self-recrimination, your heart field emits a frequency of someone who doesn't deserve to be forgiven. And the universe, always faithful, keeps you in that state. People don't return. Doors don't open. Reconciliations don't happen. Not because you are being punished, but because you are punishing yourself from within, and the outer world merely reflects it. So before you fall asleep tonight, before that scene, before that decree, I want you to do something. Place your right hand over your heart. Feel your own heartbeat, and say, in a low voice, or just with your thoughts, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for everything I have done and should not have done. I forgive myself for everything I have left undone. I forgive myself for my fears, my pride, my silences. I set myself free. And by freeing myself, I also free that person to return to me in peace, in love, in humility. This decree, simple and sincere, is what opens the portal. Because on the spiritual plane, everything is vibration. And when your inner vibration changes, the vibration of those connected to you also changes. People who are on your path, especially those who carry a deep emotional bond with you, feel these changes even from miles away. They start thinking about you for no reason. They start remembering specific moments. They start feeling a tightness in their chest they can't explain. And this is where Archangel Michael acts. This is where he goes to them in silence and whispers in their spiritual ear the phrase you need to hear. Go. Seek them out. Ask for forgiveness. Return. And this is why the title of this video came to you today. It wasn't by chance. It wasn't the algorithm. It was synchronicity. It was the bridge building itself. It was the universe letting you know that there are 4 sacred minutes, now, at this moment, when a window is open in the 4th dimension, and you can enter it and decree your new reality. 4 minutes to change what has been building for months in your emotional field. 4 minutes to leave the state of waiting and enter the state of fulfilled desire. I know it might seem like a lot. I know your rational mind might be resisting, saying this can't be that simple. But the truth, my friend, is that it has always been simple. It always was. What was complicated was the amount of lies you were told about how life works. You were told you have to fight a lot, that you have to suffer a lot, that you have to wait a lot, that you have to be patient, but not in a creative silence, in a painful patience of someone who waits without trusting. True spirituality is not about waiting. It's about occupying. You don't wait for what is yours. You occupy the state in which it is already yours. And this is why so many people who seem ordinary, who seem to have done nothing special, manifest extraordinary things, while others who pray every day, go to all the services, participate in all the prayer chains, remain exactly in the same place for 20 years. The difference is not in religion, it's not in effort, it's in the state of consciousness occupied. And now I want you to do a deep reflection with me. Think about that person you want to return. Think about them. Think about their face. Think about their voice. Think about the two of you, and answer me silently. What is the feeling that arises when you think of this person? Is it a tightness in your chest? Is it a painful longing? Is it a mix of anger, resentment, and desire? Or is it a clean, light feeling of someone who has already received what they needed to receive? If the answer is the first group, congratulations on recognizing it, because it is precisely this feeling that has been preventing you from manifesting the return. This tightness in your chest is the magnet that is pushing them away, even when you think you are calling them closer. The good news is that you can change this now. Not in 3 months, not in a novena, now. You can choose, in this very instant, to feel that person as already reconciled with you. You can choose to feel gratitude for their return. You can choose to feel the peace of someone who has already received the apology. And by making this choice repeatedly, with persistence, with calm conviction, you reverse the magnet. You go from pushing away to attracting. You go from waiting to receiving. There is a phrase that Neville Goddard used to repeat to his students that I want you to engrave in the depths of your soul. Assumptions harden into facts. Assumptions, when held with feeling and persistence, harden into facts. What you assume to be true within you, even against all external evidence, eventually becomes your external reality, because the external reality is merely the externalization of what is hardened within you. And this is why Archangel Michael is the archangel of this law. Because his sword does not cut enemies, his sword cuts illusions. He appears to you when you are ready to stop believing the lies your eyes tell you and start believing the truth your heart decrees. He appears when you are ready to change your state. So decree now with me. I know it might seem strange to say these words out loud, especially if you are in a public place listening to this video with headphones. But even silently, mentally, with firmness, repeat after me. I cease to be the one who waits. I am the one who has already received. I cease to feel the lack. I am the presence of what I asked for. I cease to doubt. I am the certainty of my manifestation. I am. I am. I am. Feel the power of these words. It's not because of the words themselves, it's because of what they represent. I am is your creative signature. It is the divine name that has existed within you since birth. When you say, I am followed by anything, you are literally sculpting the next scene of your life. And this is why so many people live in suffering without knowing it. Because they keep saying, without realizing it, I am tired, I am sad, I am forgotten, I am abandoned. And the I am, faithful to its power, creates exactly that. Start watching your inner dialogue. This is the most important work you can do from today onwards, not what you say out loud to others. What you say inside your head, silently, when no one is listening. That voice that complains in traffic jams. That voice that grumbles when the bill arrives. That voice that whispers, it will never work out when an opportunity arises. That voice is the I am working against you. And until you master this voice, no technique, no ritual, no prayer chain will truly work. But when you start replacing negative inner dialogues with inner dialogues of acceptance, of already received, of fullness, something changes in the electromagnetic field of your heart, and this change begins to radiate to everything around you. Bills begin to get organized, opportunities begin to appear, the right people begin to approach. And that specific person, the one you want to return asking for forgiveness, begins to feel, without understanding why, a sudden, irrational, irresistible urge to seek you out. I have seen this happen 1,000 times, with people who had been separated for years, with families destroyed by pride, with mothers who hadn't spoken to their children for decades, with couples who seemed impossible to reconcile. When one party changes their state of consciousness, the other party responds. Not immediately, not always the next day. Sometimes it takes 7 days, sometimes it takes 21. But the response comes. It always comes, because the law is faithful. And now I want to give you one last gift on this journey we are taking together. There is a word that carries immense spiritual weight and that many people use without knowing what it means. The word is gratitude. True gratitude is not for what you have already seen happen. Creative gratitude is for what you have not yet seen, but what you know deep in your being is already on its way. It is anticipated gratitude. It is the gratitude of certainty. When you give thanks for what has not yet arrived, you are declaring to the universe in no uncertain terms that you trust, that you know, that you have no doubt. And this attitude changes everything, because the universe does not respond to doubt. The universe responds to certainty. Therefore, from today onwards, every night before you sleep, before that scene I taught you, before that decree, whisper this phrase with your hand on your chest. Thank you. Thank you for the return that is already in progress. Thank you for the apology that is already being formulated. Thank you for the reconciliation that is already mine. Thank you. Then you go to sleep. And while you sleep, your state of consciousness continues to work. Your subconscious mind continues to emit. The fourth dimension continues to rearrange. And Archangel Michael continues his silent patrol, carrying your new frequency to the people who need to be touched by it. Do not check your phone upon waking. This is the second mistake that destroys manifestations. You prepare all night, decree, feel, sleep peacefully, and then, upon waking, the first thing you do is grab your phone to check, and when there's no message, you collapse. And that collapse kills all the night's work. Persistence, remember, is refusing to leave the state even when your eyes show you the opposite. Wake up, feel gratitude, maintain the state, and go about your day, trusting that the bridge of incidents is being built somewhere you can't yet see. And it is precisely because you cannot yet see it that it is called the fourth dimension. It is invisible to the physical eye. But it is as real as the chair you are sitting on right now. It is where everything is built first. It is where the universe prepares the conditions. It is where people are moved, thoughts are planted, and opportunities are aligned. And when everything is ready in the fourth dimension, then, and only then, does the event externalize into the physical world, and then you receive the phone call. And then the message arrives. And then the doorbell rings. So your only mission from today onwards is to maintain the state, to occupy the feeling, to persist in the assumption, to watch your inner dialogue, to decree with I am, to give thanks in advance, to sleep in the scene, and to trust with a calm, deep, unshakable trust that what has been sown within will sprout without. Because it always has. Because it always will. Because this is the law. Before I close this video, I want you to do 3 things with me. First, leave an amen in the comments, not as an empty word, but as your personal seal of acceptance. You are telling the universe, I accept this truth as mine. I receive it. I confirm it. I decree it. Second, if you haven't already left your like, do it now. Each like on this video is a small spiritual confirmation that you are ready to leave the old pattern. And when many people confirm together, a collective field is formed, and this field amplifies your individual manifestation. And third, subscribe to this channel and activate the bell, because each video that appears here is a key. It's an instruction. It's a reminder for you to maintain the state when the outer world insists on pulling you back to the old pattern. You need daily reminders. Every master who has manifested something great in life knows this. Alone, amidst the noise of the world, it's easy to forget. But with constant reminders, you remain anchored. And now finally answer me in the comments. Who is the person you want to return asking for forgiveness? You don't need to put their name. Just say, for example, my ex, my mother, my father, my son, my old friend. Just state the relationship. And as you write, decree along with it. She is already returning. He is already asking for forgiveness. The reconciliation is already mine. I am. Because when you write, you decree with more strength than just thinking. Writing is a physical act of manifestation. It is a silent ritual that stamps on the material plane what you have decreed on the spiritual plane. And as you write, I want you to feel. Don't write for the sake of writing. Feel the presence of that person. Feel the hug. Feel the words you've waited so long to hear. Feel the lightness of someone who has been reconciled. And remain in this feeling for a few seconds before closing this video. Because these last few seconds are precious. They are your planted seed. They are your final decree. Remember what I said at the beginning, that you don't attract what you want, you attract what you feel you already are. So in this very moment, decide to feel that you already are the one who received the apology, that you already are the one who was sought out, that you already are the one who was loved back, and maintain this feeling, not just for today, for tomorrow, for the whole week, for the whole month. Maintain it, persist, do not waver. Because the reward for those who persist is to watch, with their own eyes, the impossible become commonplace. It is to see the door open. It is to hear the phone ring. It is to receive the message they had already given up on receiving. It is to feel the hug that seemed lost forever. And when this happens, and it will happen, I want you to remember this video. I want you to remember this night. I want you to remember that it all began the moment you stopped asking and started occupying. Your new reality has already begun. The threads are already being woven, the pieces are already moving. All you need to do is maintain the state. I am loved, I am sought out, I am reconciled, I am, I am, I am. And so it is. Now take a deep breath. Place your hand on your chest. Feel your heart beating and trust, just trust, because Archangel Michael is already in motion. The bridge of incidents is already being built. And soon, very soon, you will understand why you found this video precisely on this day, precisely at this hour, precisely in these 4 sacred minutes that changed your life forever. I'll see you in the next video. Maintain the state, persist, and receive.